and welcome to the special pre-budget show on emerging cities. I'm coming from Nagpur, state of Maharashtra, and I'm at the Indian Institute of Management in Nagpur, which is one of the prestigious institutes in the country. Today we explore how cities like Nagpur have reshaped India's economic story, how Nagpur has become a hub for several industries, and for that we have industrial experts who will take us through how Nagpur's change story has evolved over the years and what their expectations are from this budget. Let me introduce you to our esteemed panelists. We have Prasanna Mohile, who is the National Head, Corporate Affairs and Executive Board Member, Pernod Ricard India Limited. We also have Ashish Kale, Director, Provincial Automobiles and President, Association for Industrial Development. Vishal Agarwal, Managing Director, Plasto Group of Companies and President, Vidarbha Industries Association. We also have Dr. Bhimrai Maitri, who is the Director of this institute, which is IIM Nagpur, and Amitabh Khanna, President, Vidarbha Association of Software Exporters. So we will start with Mr. Prasanna Mohile. Mr. Mohile, of course, we've been talking about Nagpur's growth story. You know, when I read about Nagpur, we know the agriculture aspect of things. Logistics center is what it is. There's manufacturing. Nagpur is known for its oranges. So it is, in a way, becoming a hub for various industries. It has evolved over the years. So take us through the growth story of Nagpur. What are some of the drivers of the growth in this city? How it has evolved over the years? And what is the future potential as far as this emerging city is concerned?
Thank you, Radhika, for inviting me with the esteemed panelists for this discussion. Nagpur, as you are aware, is in the center of the map of India, and that's why it has a lot of advantages around it. The 0 mile starts from Nagpur. So Nagpur also has a very unique diamond crossing of railways. So Nagpur is very well connected with air, road and rail. Nagpur can today be the Maharashtra's logistic capital. Nagpur is also surrounded by the 5 Tiger National Parks. So basically, we have a very locational advantage here, and we feel that government should put more emphasis today on the logistics. So we look at the coming budget where we feel that Nagpur and Vidarbha should be given a top priority and a boost on logistics. I also feel that, as I said, that there is a unique diamond crossing of railways. There can be refurbishment and rehabilitation plant, which today it's not there. It's there in China, it's there in France. So we can see that there are only today the minor repairs which happens in the railways. However, if the refurbishment and rehabilitation plan comes, we'll get the new bogies coming in, new experience for the passengers, and also there will be huge job creation in Nagpur by one project. So these are some of the projects where basically we feel the government should consider Nagpur.
Let's go across to Ashish Kale, who of course represents automobile. So Mr. Kale, you know, there is a lot of talk about EV, you know, electric vehicles. So I just wanted to know where Nagpur stands in terms of, you know, EV adoption. I'm hearing that there are electric vehicles, electric buses being adopted, and there is infrastructure coming for it. So in terms of automobile industry's expansion and adoption of EV, what do you perhaps foresee in the future for Nagpur? And what are your expectations perhaps to get a boost on the EV front for the city?
Thanks for having me, Radhika. I think you correctly pointed out, there is a lot of talk about EV, and we all know that electric vehicles is the future for transportation across the globe, all others being transitionary. Our government is also focusing a lot on the electric vehicle infrastructure, manufacturing and adoption into our country. I think both of you missed out in saying that Nagpur also has very dynamic leadership. One of the country's most visionary leaders, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, comes from Nagpur. and our visionary Chief Minister, Mr. Devendra Fadnavis, also comes from Nagpur. So both of their initiatives, Mr. Gadkari has been one of the biggest proponents of non-conventional energy right from the time nobody knew about it. So Nagpur, as you correctly said, was one of the first to adopt electric vehicles. We had the first Ola taxi fleet here of about 400 cabs, which were completely electric, and they would start from the airport. So anybody coming into Nagpur could get into electric vehicle. He could book an electric vehicle separately. Our municipal corporation is also one of the first in the country to adopt electric buses, and now we have 400 new buses which are ready to join into our fleet. So we've been, as a city, we've been early adopters of non-conventional energy, especially in automobiles. Other areas also, but mainly in automobiles. We are hoping that in the budget, they kind of, make zones or for EV manufacturing, clusters for EV manufacturing, and Nagpur is designated as that because we have all the advantages required, including the geographical advantage.
Right, so sustainable mobility is certainly going to be a focus area. I'll go across to Vishal Agarwal. You're into manufacturing, MSMEs. So, of course, manufacturing, again, is something that Nagpur is known for. But as far as the MSMEs are concerned, they are critical to Nagpur's economy. But tell us, what are some of the subsidies or special tax reforms or even schemes that you believe budget should prioritize, especially for small and medium enterprises?
So, thank you. According to me, there are 4 major factors which can be focused in this budget. So, one is the infrastructure development. Since government has stopped, central government has stopped the expenditure on Jal Jeevan Mission and other big projects, so government can restart those projects. Second is big industries. Like both of my panelists have said that we are expecting some big industries. If these big industries come to our region, then MSME will definitely grow along with them. Third is the logistic cost. Since Nagpur is a landlocked city, the transportation cost from Mumbai, the nearest port, is very high. So what government can do to reduce the logistic cost? Can they give some cross subsidy? If possible, then only MSME will grow fast in this region. And fourth is the land cost. The land cost for the MSME is a very big cost. And availability of land, that is another major problem.
I'll go across to Bhimrai Maitri, Director of IIM Nagpur. Sir, let's talk about education. Of course, IIM Nagpur is one of the prestigious institutes, one of the, prestigious institutes as far as management is concerned in the country. Now, if you were to talk about what education policy transformation would you want to see in the budget, specifically for cities like Nagpur, do you see enough funding, enough support, enough help coming from the government for tier 2 cities? What kind of industry academia collaboration would you want to see in terms of skill development?
Thank you, Radhika. In the budget, National Education Policy 2020 has already come, and last 4 years we have started implementing National Education Policy 2020, and Government of India has a lot of plan for transformation of education. And along with the education, there is a Ministry of Skill and Entrepreneurship Development, both go hand in hand. And we are expecting Vidarbha, Nagpur being not only 0 mile or center point of India, but it is a net zero center point of India. If you go by today's sustainable development goal, equidistance from all metros and overnight journey by trains. So it is a net zero center point of India, I must say. So, and it has a locational advantage if you really want to achieve the net zero goal, which our Prime Minister has already, envisaged 2070, we are going to have net zero. And Nagpur is going to play a very, very important role to achieve the net zero. And keeping the net zero and sustainable development goals of United Nations in mind, I think Government of India, and in the budget, I am sure a lot of emphasis will be given for skilling and also creating ESG guidelines, sustainable development reports, as well as creating awareness and also instead of as usual business, how to create a sustainable business models. So these are the areas actually going to play a very, very significant role to achieve the net zero.
So I'll go across to Amitabh Khanna, who's the president for Vidarbha Association of Software Exporters. Mr. Khanna, you know, when we talk about IT sector, the IT capital of India, Bangalore, and then we look at Hyderabad, and then we look at Chennai. So these are usually known as IT hubs. So Nagpur is slowly, becoming, in a way, a hub for IT sector, I'm guessing. So tell us, where does it stand in terms of, IT sector development and growth over the years? And when we talk about AI, semiconductors, what is the kind of boost that you're looking at so that it comes on par? A tier 2 city like Nagpur will perhaps come on par with, say, a Bengaluru or a Chennai or a Delhi NCR.
Thanks, Radhika. See, over the last 15 years, our industry, the IT industry, have grown phenomenally. Especially after the operations of this special economic zone where we are sitting, Mihan, many large IT companies started operations here. So almost all biggies like TCS, Infosys, Tech Mahindra, HCL, Hexaware, and few more, and Global Logic, they are already operational. They are already operational here. So, and the employment they have generated is also huge. About 25,000 people are employed here in this SEZ in the IT industry. And similar, the similar number you can say outside the industry, this SEZ also. Like we have a couple of IT parks in the city area also. So there we have another 25,000 people employed in the industry. And what next thing we are looking at is we should have a couple of GCCs in India, in Nagpur. So for that we are trying hard. So almost all the industry associations are behind this initiative, and we are talking to many large companies, consulting companies, big 5 companies. We are talking to them that just guide us how to set up GCCs here in Nagpur. So that's the thing we are behind it. And regarding what we expect from government is like if government allows companies to sign INR contract in SEZ, this will boost to another level. So like many more companies will come over here, especially GCCs.
So, sir, coming back to you, Mr. Mohile, what role can Nagpur play in driving growth in, say, consumer-centric industries, perhaps FMCG, for instance? Where can the gap be sort of filled? Are there specific infrastructural policy gaps that you'd like this budget to address in consumer-centric industries?
Okay, basically, I come from the Alcobev sector. Now, if you see Alcobev sector, it's one of the biggest sectors which contributes to the jobs. Almost 50 lakh jobs are created by the Alcobev sector. But still, we are not there in the mainstream sector right now. We don't have that status as yet. So we want, if more investment to come into it, because it's a lot of employment generation which can happen if we come into the mainstream sector. We are in Nagpur. If you ask me, as everybody, all the panelists, they said what are the advantages. So we are also coming up with our malt maturation plant in Nagpur with our first phase investment of almost 200 million euros. And the major focus of that will be generating jobs for the agriculture sector here. So Pan-India, Panurica's presence itself has generated 9 lakh jobs, out of which 6 lakhs are in the agriculture sector. So similarly, now we are looking at, getting the direct benefit of almost 80 to 90,000 farmers would be getting benefit out of this one investment. So we are into the Make in India initiative now. So we look Nagpur as a very important destination for all such sectors which will drive the growth and the economy of this region.
Mr. Kale, I'd like to take this question forward. As far as infrastructure is concerned, as he's been pointing out, Nitin Gadkari is, of course, from Nagpur, and he's the highway man. I mean, he's designed infrastructure projects across the country, and he's really developed Nagpur like never before in terms of highways, road projects, airport, metro, as you said. But despite that, has Nagpur's full potential been unlocked?
So I think what our leaders have done, especially Mr. Gadkari, has he's put in all the enablers in place. What do you require from an emerging metro city? What we would like from the central government is probably look at decluttering the existing clusters. So wherever there are, if you look at what happens today is any new manufacturing plant, when they want to go, they'll go to the existing cluster because the ecosystem is there. What the government should look at is incentivize centers like Nagpur, which are blessed with certain natural resources. So there are many clusters which can come up here. EV is one which I mentioned, right? Steel is one because we have Gadchiroli, we have the best iron ore in the world today. So steel is another. Prasanna mentioned about railways. So Nagpur has a unique advantage of being at the crossroads of the entire country, whether it is railway or whether it is road.
Similar question to Mr. Agarwal as well. In terms of policy changes, what kind of changes would you like the budget to bring about so that, Nagpur can leverage, as he said, all these infrastructure development, and the city's geographical location? It is very conducively located, centrally located. So what are some of the, policy changes perhaps that can be brought about in order for the city to leverage on these advantages that it already has?
See, as Gadkari ji is always saying that logistic cost of India is 14% of the GDP, and he is targeting to bring it down to 9% or a single digit logistic cost. So if government is successful in implementing that, the best advantage Nagpur can get is that 9% logistic cost, because we are far away from the ports and we are centrally located. So if the logistic cost is almost reduced by 30-40%, we can go say 50% bigger market. This will help us, Nagpur and other small cities, to operate from a small city and supply to bigger centers. So if that is possible and government can do it fastest possible, that is what is required. The logistic cost is one of the most important things for me.
So logistic cost is something that need to be worked out. And Mr. Maitri, to you, once again, I would like to ask you, again, what would you like to see in terms of innovation and research in an institute like IIM?
Already Government of India has set up Anusandhan, National Research Foundation, and in previous budget they have kept 50,000 crore rupees for that. I think there is a need to allocate such kind of funding the second and third tier cities. I know cities like Nagpur, which is located centrally, and being a logistic capital of India, I think the research in the area of, as Vishalji rightly said, logistic cost, if you reduce 1% of the logistic cost, we can bring down thousands of crores of rupees in our GDP. So that 1% of logistic cost is extremely important to carry out the research in the area of logistics, and also for development of new product and innovative product. I think for R&D, already Government of India has allocated money, but there is still need to put forth some more money, so that India wants to lead the globe. We have to develop expertise in R&D, research and development. I think research and development and that innovation is a part of that. That is extremely important.
Mr. Khanna, I'm not going to ask you an industry-specific question, but do you think there has to be a separate allocation for perhaps a tier 2 city like Nagpur? Do you think that, budget is skewed towards metropolitan cities?
Yes, I've already suggested what needs to be done by last term.
Yeah.
So, yes, definitely, there should invest some money in skill development also. Sir has also requested for that. So, skill development related to IT. Now, there was a recent announcement by Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Mr. Devendra Fadnavis. Like Google is setting up a center of excellence for AI in Nagpur.
Oh, okay.
And it's very near to this place at Triple IT. So that will definitely boost
Okay.
our industry because Google and then Google with AI. So that will also encourage.
So to all of you, I'd like to ask this question, generic, not industry specific, but what is your long-term vision for Nagpur? And how do you think this budget 2025 will perhaps fulfill that vision, at least in the next 5 years? A 2030 vision, which can perhaps, be set into motion this year.
I want really the union government should focus more on investing and boosting the rural economy. And until unless the rural economy is not linked with the urban economy there, then the dream of Vikasit Bharat will not come true by 2047 because
I think what we have not exploited is our industrial potential, and we need to, because industries gives jobs, right? If you look at Nagpur, around 500 kilometers is the most important big city. So any development in Nagpur will have a trickle down effect. As Prasanna mentioned, rural development is important, but it could also go the other way from a city to the rural. So if a city develops, automatically the surrounding areas develop. So Nagpur has the potential of being, or this region, Nagpur region, has the potential and is already actually a very big defense hub. So if it can further develop into, because today in defense, private sector is playing a big part. Defense in Nagpur currently is 80% government. So if defense industries come up, steel production, so there's a lot of scope of industrialization.
So as far as this budget is concerned, I expect the finance minister has already allocated some amount for the Nagpur metro project. So we want that fund, which I think is still not come to Nagpur, and add some more fund for the metro project and some other railway projects which are underway. So if the railways and metro trains are built, I think finance minister can help Nagpur very much in that.
According to Oxford Economic Survey recently conducted, Nagpur has been, projected as a fastest growing city in the world. Not only in India, but fastest growing city in the world. So Nagpur has lot of potential to grow as a global city.
What about you, sir? Last word on that.
See, if Nagpur develops, other cities surrounding Nagpur will develop. Okay. So like Amravati, Chandrapur, so all cities around this will develop. And there will come a time when there will not be an option rather than going to that cities. So if this becomes a role model, those cities will also grow.
All right, we come to the end of this discussion. Thank you to all my esteemed panelists for giving valuable insights and perspectives on the potential of an emerging city like Nagpur and their expectations from Budget 2025. Hope the Finance Minister listens and addresses several of these concerns and also fulfills the hopes and expectations of industry leaders from Nagpur, and hopefully their aspirations are met. That's all we have the time for. Thank you for watching.